programme features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome everyone to this fantastic sunset safari. That was a Burchell starling all the way up in the tree, and this is Safari Live.
Ready. Standing by.
You are live. Welcome everyone to this fantastic sunset safari. We're all the way from a windy South Africa. We are on Djuma Game Reserve in the National Kruger Park. My name is Ali, and on camera today with me is Ferg. And if you've got any comments, any questions you'd like to ask, you're more than welcome to send them through using the hashtag Safari Live. Now, some of you may remember Tayla and I were doing a bird challenge this morning, so we've decided to carry on doing that, see if we can have a few more birds, perhaps get some of those list numbers higher up, see if we see anything different today, which would be quite interesting. It is quite windy, so we've also decided to do a bit of an experiment and have a mammal challenge. See which one of us manages to see more mammals out in the bush, and then we want to redo it when it's not as windy to see if perhaps if it is actually true that we see more mammals when it's less windy. Common experience should dictate so, but we shall see. Right, all the birds in this tree have flown away before we had a chance to see them. And I think all of the ones out there we actually got to see this morning. So there was a drungo, Burchell starling, and a ringneck dove. Now I saw another one fly in here, but I can't see it anymore. So I'm going to be leaving that one over there and maybe start counting for the mammals. But in the meantime, and while I look for any mammal or feathered friend, let's go over to Tayla, who's very eager to say hello.
Good afternoon again, everybody, and a big welcome if you have just joined us. My name is Tayla McCurdy, and on camera with me today is Craig. It's nice and warm. Craig's not afraid to pull his hands out of his pockets this time. Right now, of course, as you know, this is a live and interactive safari, or perhaps you didn't know that. Hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, and you can send us your questions, any pictures. Let us know how many birds you are on, if it's a new bird, seeing as though we're continuing our challenge. But I thought I would start this drive off slightly different. I wanted to show you some building that's going on here. Now, as most of you know, the Sabi Sand Wildtuin is a private wilderness area, and we've into and then is it Newington's Gate? And for the life of me, I almost forgot what the middle gate was called. And then Shaw's Gate is far south. So what I want to show you is, you may see like a lot of buildings and things. These are where the wardens, the sort of section wardens for this northern Sabi Sand work. But we're building a new gate. Look how beautiful it's looking. So they knocked down the old one. So this is basically going to be the entrance now. They've got boom gates and the cameras and things will all still go up once everything is all sorted. And basically that little signboard you can see just to the left there, it doesn't show much on our side, but on the other side of it, it lists all the various lodges and things that you can come and see and visit if you are here. There are restrooms, but this is the security. This is a gate, and you can't get in here unless you have got your name on the list and you've got a variety of different things. It will not let you through. So I just wanted to right, now we're going to go that way down Triple M to see if any cats have perhaps been moving around, but let's go across to Ali to see if she's put another bird on her list.
Well, I haven't found another bird on the list, but I have found a very dead mammal, one that I would definitely not like to approach. Whoop! I'm all tangled up. I would not like to approach this one if it were alive, because they're normally unlike some of their more domestic cousins. But the reason why I want to show you guys this buffalo skull is because there's lots happening around here. Now, very muddy skull. Ugh, lots of things living in here. So I don't want to damage them all. I just want to bring them a bit closer to you. Right, so if you were wondering what the downside of a buffalo skull looks like, there we go. But this is not the reason why I'm showing you. Actually, there's something very interesting happening all around here. And I don't know if you can see all the filaments, all the little things moving around here. All these things, it's a type of moth that actually comes and lays its eggs inside of the horn of the buffalo, and the young one, when it comes out, they normally do it on the dead animals or on the horn of the dead animals. They will eat the keratin, and as they start defecating, then this is how these filaments come all the way out. But we can even see some of the moths that were not too successful in getting out, so I just want to bring it a bit closer. And this is a lot heavier than it looks like. I am a very strong little person. You see over here, this one here, you can see a tiny little moth that was on the process of getting out, but I think maybe it just didn't manage. Maybe it ate too much and it got fat and it couldn't get out. And there are a few more all the way around here that have been feeding on it and then just getting out. So this is pretty much what happens to the horns of all of the creatures that we have that live in this area. And as you can see, nothing goes to waste, not even the old horns. There's been an infestation and there are lots of them all around. Maybe if we turn the skull around, you'll be able to see some more of the filaments all around here moving. Well, not moving, but coming out. So quite a tragic thing that happens to them. They do have an important job of eating the keratin and recycling all the nutrients and everything else around here. And we see it often with a lot of the creatures that die out in the bush. Like I said, pretty much anything that you see that has horns, this is what's going to happen to them. And it's good because then it's a food source for many of the animals around. And it looks also quite entertaining. And this is why a lot of the times the skulls, especially if they want to keep them as trophies, then they have to dip them in diesel and all sorts of other things to precisely try to prevent this tiny little moth from coming in there and doing a bit of damage. And sometimes also while the animals are alive, you'll see that they'll try to get in there, and you'll see that the buffaloes or other animals will go and rub their horns against the trees and try to expose that inner layer, and by doing so they manage to apply some of the tannins onto their skull, and then that way repelling some of the annoying insects and little moth and creatures that might be trying to get to them. Right, having said this and found a dead mammal, which probably doesn't count, let's carry on. Amkar, you're wondering if it's safe to touch the bones? Likely not, but I was just holding the horns, the keratin part. I wouldn't like to touch too many of the horns or the bones because there are lots of diseases that can be attached to them. A lot of animals come and chew on them. So I will make sure that I wash my hands in the next little while. I've got some, well, it's not detergent, it's an antibacterial thing to make sure that nothing gets to me. Because I would say at this time of the year, anthrax is a real threat. The spores are able to live for very long, and sometimes they find that bones are good hosts for them. So that's why I was not touching the white part. I was just touching the old keratiny parts, which are apparently less dangerous. But having said that, definitely gonna go wash my hands as soon as we manage to come onto a bit of a spot where I can do so, or find some devil thorn to be able to wash my hands. While I do so, let's go over to Tayla, who's got very big hopes for the afternoon and is looking for cats.
I am, but I've just seen my first bird. There's some arrow-marked babblers just where they're going to fly. Let's see if we can get them. You might be able to hear them. I hope that didn't scare them away. Now, babblers are always a tricky one to get on screen. I'm just going in quietly. They're in here. They're hiding in and amongst the various trees. Oh, no. Excuse me. And now there's a car behind us as well. I don't know what to do because I really want to show you these birds, but they are probably, yeah, no, they're being quite patient. Let's see. Maybe it's a person that works in the Sabi sand. No, our babblers are gone now. Okay, well, Let me just pull off of the road very quickly. I am on Triple M at the moment, which most of you know is a boundary road. Wonderful news, Lucy. You said that your bird list is up to 301 and you're looking forward to adding some new ones to your list. My goodness, I feel as though you've seen a fair amount of birds in the Sabi Sand, and I'm sure some of those birds are from Kenya as well. Wow-wee, that's impressive. So well done to you. And to all of you who haven't quite got as many birds as Lucy, there we go. You've got someone to look up to. And we'll try and add a few more. Let's see, maybe we can catch that long-billed crombeck that there was a few of them that were bouncing about today. Who knows, maybe even a grey penduline tit. If this wind lets up a little bit, it'll be great. It'll be much, much better. But for now, it doesn't seem like it is it? Now, those babblers, that was very rude of them because you could hear them and they were just hopping out of sight through the jackalberries, which is a little bit annoying. But we'll see if we can find some more around here. There isn't much in terms of bird life either, so I think as soon as we get a gap I might actually jump and start heading towards Impala Plains Road, because some of those little thickets are like nicely sheltered and there might be a few birds just sitting in and amongst the trees. So that's what we're going to have to be doing today. I think we need to look on the ground and look on sort of low-lying branches to see the birds hopping about. They don't enjoy the wind either. It makes flying terribly difficult. Right, let's see. No, there's nothing here, not even a turtle dove. Can you believe it, walking on the road, which there normally always is. But it seems as though Ellie is now winning in the mammal challenge because she's found the biggest one of them all.
Well, we have found a small one of the biggest one of them all that's being a bit shy now and going into the thickets. So we have quite a big herd all around us. There we go, there's another one over there. And I think this must have been the same one that we saw this morning, that big tusker was looking around, judging by the direction where they all came from. And I think maybe slowly but surely they're going to start making their way towards Vuyatela Dam. So keep your eyes open on the dam cam. I'm sure they're going to come around at some point. But they're all around us. And there's another one here on this side, a little sneaky boy that was behind the tree that we actually hadn't seen until now. Hello. Or maybe they've actually been digging, because judging by the markings on his skin, he's actually been playing with water. Oh my goodness, really? We've been here longer than you think. It is funny the way that they act, and they go like, ah, I see you now. And we've got a bit of a youngster in front of us that might start getting a bit too bright. So if I start shouting at him, please don't think it's with you. Just lots of little ones around here. Hey. You be nice. I wonder if you're the same one that's been giving Tayla a bit of trouble the past few days. At least you're a bit friendlier. So you see, like we were saying, a lot of the times the wind makes some of the animals antsy and they don't particularly enjoy it. So they've got to be a bit careful, and then maybe they're a bit more edgy than what they normally would be. Hey! I was just saying good things about you. Come, girl. Be nice to us. I think maybe she's upset because we are driving on the road and she wanted to walk on the road itself. No, it's a bit too complicated for you to carry on walking around there. Proving a point, eating as she feeds away. I was like, ah, this is what I wanted to do all along. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna carry on eating. A very powerful trunk. Trying to get rid of all the dust in the grass, which is quite a tremendous task at the moment. Alright, I think she wants to go slightly forward, so I'm going to move to just give her a bit of a gap. No? You found another way? Thank you so much for being so friendly to us. We appreciate it. Crystal Fox, you say naughty Ellie. Yes, cheeky naughty Ellie. And we've got so many around us, which is wonderful, but I think they might be a bit naughty because we are the odd ones out. Although we are big and green, we're not exactly like them. So I think a lot of them are just going to be like, oh, you know, new play toy, hello. And obviously by being so big, sometimes they afford or they give themselves the opportunity of trying their luck and pushing everybody away. I think sometimes they just enjoy to see the power that they've got and how easily they can scare pretty much anything. They are the biggest creatures around, so I don't think too many things stand up against them. I think humans are probably the only ones. But you are behaving and you're enjoying that tree, aren't you? Eating the buffalo thorn. The buffalo thorn is one of those yummy trees that even people can eat. And as a matter of fact, a lot of people do it often, almost in the form of a very interesting salad, but it's got very sharp spines. So it's, well, hook thorns. One that points forward and one that points backward. So the Ellies have got to be particularly careful when eating it just to make sure that they don't hurt themselves. Which I think this is what he's doing. You see he chews like very carefully, so he opens his mouth and grabs the trunk and just making sure that everything goes to the back and that it doesn't hurt his tongue. Very slowly. And everything going to the back of the mouth, because that's where the teeth are. So they don't have teeth in the front like a lot of the animals and a lot of the herbivores around here do, but just towards the back of the mouth. So that's why it's being so careful. It's almost like going around the tongue so that it doesn't get hurt and then putting it directly onto the teeth. So the teeth and the molars can start crushing everything. Slowly but surely. James Richard, you were saying that that girl earlier on looked like the one that was giving Tayla a bit of trouble earlier on. I think you are right. I think this is the one. You also say that it's got the same bend in the tail. Well, I hadn't seen that one already, but I've heard stories about how this particular cow has been a bit naughty with Tayla. But I think she's also, you know, maybe she's got aspirations. Maybe she wants to be a matriarch one day and she's just proving herself to the rest of the group. I think Ellies have different personalities like a lot of humans, so sometimes somebody will be, you know, have that almost like mom attitude and, oh, I'm gonna protect them all and who are you, and I think they come from a good place in their hearts, if I can say it in that particular way, that they're just looking after pretty much every other herd member. I've got another naughty one. What you doing? Your sister was quite decent. Now I think maybe we've got the young bull that's picking up ideas. Nick, you're wondering how the Ellies react to the shouting and scolding that we do to them. Well, a lot of the times we just shout when they're a bit close, just to almost like give them a bit of a fright, or to take them out of that emphasis that they're in, as in like, you know, I know you're here, but I'm also big and strong and I'm not afraid of you. Because a lot of the times, or most of the times, with some of these bigger creatures around here, we pretty much stand no chance if they decide to come against us or if they want to start chasing us. So you've got to hold your ground and make yourself look bigger or more important than what you really are. It's all a matter of attitude out here in the bush. So when they do that, or when we shout, then you'll see that she immediately hesitated and she was like, oh, well, I can't bully you around, I can't push you around. And I was like, oh, what's happening? So with the younger bulls and the younger females, it tends to work quite well, because it's almost like we're training each other. So we're learning what a particular herd, or how closely a particular herd allow us to be, because some of them don't really like humans. But then also we're teaching them that we're not going to be scared of them and run around all the time. And because it's been a job that's been done for decades at a time, then these Ellies allow us to be so close to them, and they're not feeling threatened by us. They're just being naughty because they can. I think sometimes they just have fun pushing people around. There are a few more, but I think they have moved into a bit of a thicker bush. There's one. Hello. And they're all coming around. I think they're enjoying. There are a lot of buffalo thorns and acacias around here, very nutritious leaves, and I think that's what they're all enjoying eating. And we've got somebody that's smelling us. I did wash my hair today, so it should smell quite nice and fruity. Lexi, you're wondering what plants can make the elephant sick. Well, there are a few plants that they won't feed up on too much, especially the ones that have got the milky latex in them. So I haven't seen them eat too many euphorbias, which looks like a cactus, but is not really a cactus, not related to it, although it looks very similar. And there's another species called tamboti, also with a milky latex that's tends to be poisonous. Not too many animals will feed too much of it. Sometimes it's believed that if they need to purge themselves, then that they will have small quantities of it. But they learn from a very young age from their mothers what plants they can eat, what plants will make them feel funny, and they tend to stick away from the ones that are not good for them. I think now as it starts drying out, then they're going to start finishing the more nutritious leaves, and as winter carries on, they're also going to start feeding on a lot of the acacia pods that we're going to start seeing, just because they're going to need a bit more of nutritional sources all around, as the grass is definitely not going to be as palatable as it's been, and it's not going to be as soft, so they'll have to move off and start eating other things. All of them hiding in between the bushes. I can't even see any of them all around. I know I can hear them because Ellies are very noisy when they start moving, when they start moving around and feeding at the same time. Because you will always hear, when they beat the grass, when they grab it with their trunk and they're trying to get the dust off, or when they move around, or where they break the branch of a tree, or where they pull the leaves. So they're very noisy eaters. There are a few more around, and I can just catch glimpses of them moving, but I think we're gonna wait here for a little bit, see if perhaps another one comes into a bit of a gap, and we're able to have a bit more of a look, because I see a trunk here and there, an ear, and I can hear them. There's quite a few around, so I'm sure this is that herd that Tayla's been with the past few days, and I wonder if they haven't evolved to have like a little routine. They will go all the way up to the northern part, and they will come down into the drainage line, and then feed around here for a little bit, and then go back into the dam for a drink. I think that's exactly what they're doing. They have decided that this is a good path for them, and that things seem to be working, so why not? It would be quite nice to stay around with them until hopefully they'll go to the dam, and then we can see them playing in the water and just having fun and spraying everything. They are quite hilarious when they do that. I think there's nothing as happy as an elephant in the water. I think we've got another naughty one coming our way. Oh, but you look quite sleepy. Lily, you're 7 years old and you're wondering how much elephant eats in a day. Well, lots. They can eat, a very big bull elephant can eat over 100 kilograms of food in one day. So can you imagine how many trees and how much grass that is? It's bales and bales of grass just to be able to sustain their weight. So they've got to eat a lot to make sure that they're full. Sheila, you're wondering if Ellies react differently to different smells people may have, or that there are around. I think they do. I think it's a combination for them of smell and hearing. They can definitely smell the cars, but I think they mix our personal smells with those ones of the car. So it'll be my shampoo and my soap with Ferg's shampoo and soap, and then also the fuel or the diesel and the different fluids in the car. So I think they learn to associate all of the things into, a game drive vehicle moving around. But it has been suggested that there are certain things that they don't like, and in some areas of Africa they are actually doing a lot of studies trying to use pepper spray, because apparently the smell they don't like, and I wonder if it's actually a bit itchy on their trunks the same way as it is for us. And they're using pepper spray, like I was saying, to try and get them away from human settlements, because Ellies have a bit of a sweet tooth, and especially around sugar cane crops and farms, they come in and they destroy everything, and they just seem to love it. So a lot of people are doing a lot of different things trying to find natural elephant repellents, because you can imagine if an elephant wants to go a certain way, it's quite hard to get them to go away. I'm going to see if perhaps we can get a bit of a clearer view of our Ellies, but in the meantime let's go to Tayla, who's got one of the prettiest birds that there are.
We do have one of the prettiest birds. It's a Lilac Breasted Roller. You have no idea how hard Craig and I have worked to try and get a Lilac Breasted Roller. This is about the third one we've tried to put on screen, and they all keep flying away from us. But luckily, this one has decided to perch itself on I don't even know what tree that was at one point. What was that? In fact, anyways, it's sitting up there. There were a couple of hornbills around too, so I wonder if they weren't just feeding in the long grass. But for now, this one has just perched itself off, I think, plotting its next move as to where it's going to go and look for insects. There we go. Well, there was a wasp flying right next to you, Roller. You should have spotted that. You could easily snatch that out of the air. No? Didn't even see it. Did you all see that wasp that flew around there? Craig, did you spot it? It was so cool. And obviously, it might have been a spider hunting wasp. It was a bit difficult to tell because we're so far away, of course, from this bird. Literally, we're having to park kilometers away now. There, off it goes. Beautifully. Oh, it's landed closer. That's a better view. Thank you. Thank you very much. So I'm not sure how many birds we exactly are on, but if anybody did keep score from this morning, if you could just let us know and keep us updated, that'd be much appreciated. I think trying to write in the wind day would be a disaster. Like I said, it's gusting quite sufficiently out here. Any type of wind that we normally have. Oh, did it catch something? I think it might have. Yes, it did. No? Oh, I thought it got lucky. The way that it sort of swooped around like that, it landed so gracefully. I thought it must have caught a little insect. But that's what I think it's feeding on today. I think it is looking for flying insects. So bees and wasps and butterflies, anything that it can really sort of, well, I suppose catch. But this is a typical technique of a Lilac Breasted Roller, is to sit and wait for something to fly. Oh. Now, sorry about that. Abid, you said that this is the second most photographed bird in the Kruger. I wonder what the first most photographed bird is. What could that be? I'm just trying to think actually off of the top of my head. Abid, you're going to have to help me out. A hornbill, that makes total sense. See how it keeps coming back to the same perch? So that's a really amazing technique, this whole sit and wait thing. And I think it's got quite a nice spot here. Tall grass, some shrubs, open road as well. So it would be attracting a variety of different insects. You might get some butterflies flying around here, some grasshoppers hiding in the long grass. There's so much for it to eat. Beautiful bird. So right, let's carry on. I think what we're going to do is we're going to head down towards Treehouse Dam, and hopefully we're going to see some magpie shrikes, because there's often magpie shrikes around there. Maybe a little three-banded plover and Mr. and Mrs. Blacksmith lapwing, because we didn't get those this morning. Turtle dove we are also still missing, so there's definitely a couple of common birds that we can still add to our list, if just some yellow hornbills flying off. What are you lot eating today? There's a whole group of them. And I roll quietly towards them. Enjoying the shade? They were out feeding on the road just for a moment. But there were 3 of them. This one is now quite hot though. Look how it's opening its beak, trying to cool itself down. It was 82 today, which is ridiculous to think that we're in winter. I'm sure, especially if you're from the UK, you're probably going, we don't even get days that hot. And this is our winter up in the low felt. That's wonderful. Now don't open your mouth too wide. That's not good manners. Just relaxing now in the sun. I'm sure they're waiting for me to carry on so that they can go back to their feeding. Right, enjoy your afternoon. Hornbills, we already got them. I think we got them a couple of times this morning. Well, let's go down this way. And maybe we'll even get wax bills. That could be another thing. There's a tree. I've forgotten which tree it is though. It's just right next to the dam. It's quite thorny, and I've often seen quite a few different small birds. Some of the firefinch hang around there, buntings, often wax bills. So we'll have a stare straight down into that thorny tree and see if we can spot any of those smaller birds that are quite often hard to put on screen. And then of course, as we're bumbling about looking for birds and various mammals, we're still looking for cat tracks. None just yet though. But again, the wind was howling quite sufficiently for most of the day, so I'm going to also have to rely on remembering what tracks I saw on various roads today and this morning. Right, who have we got here? Who have we got here? Are they little canaries, little weavers? Yeah, oh no, come back. It's just hiding in the tree there. What are you? I'm just trying to see. It's a bit difficult to see with the glare on my screen. So if you do take some screenshots and you can help me identify. It looks like maybe a female weaver. There's another one just there to the right. Right there. There we go. It just flew away. Now they've moved off. I think it looks like one of the weavers, one of the female weavers. It looks a little bit too big to perhaps be a canary, but I do stand under correction. If any of you did get a good look, please feel free to help me out. There is a glare on my monitor, and that's what I'm looking at when Craig zooms in. It's much better than any pair of binoculars. I think there's a food party here. This is some drongos flying out. Let me just see if I can spot anybody. I can hear wax bills. Anyone moving through this long grass? No, I thought it was maybe a francolin. We haven't got any of the francolins just yet either. I can hear them. There's an entire food party here. Where are you, little birds? Oh, so difficult to spot. You know what I did go and do? I went to Impala Plains to go and have a look and try and find the pipits. Now, I saw the pipits. They were flying up, and then they would land back down in the grass, and the grass is just too tall. We'd zoom right in, but we couldn't see anything, unfortunately. So maybe we'll try a bit later and see if they come out onto the road, because there's at least the Buffy and the African pipit that are there. And those might be some new ones, because we don't often get to see the pipits. They're quite shy birds. Right, we're going to sit and see if we can find any birds around Treehouse Dam. Ellie has managed to relocate those elephants. Let's go take another look.
We have, but we're just choosing a bit of a better spot to try and view them when they come down for a drink. So we're just going to go around. And hopefully they'll come into this water hole and they'll start having a drink, because it seems like it's quite a hot afternoon and everyone is a little bit further. Yes. Sorry, I thought you were saying that you wanted me to stop there. Okay. Alright. All we need is the elephants to start coming around. I think they will, and I think maybe we have bumped into two different groups together, because some of them are going in one direction and the rest of them seem to be going in a completely different direction. So I think maybe it'll pay off if we're just a little bit patient and we hope that they'll come around, because they were definitely intending to come down into this water hole. Perhaps not to have a drink, because it seems like maybe there isn't enough water, but maybe I was hoping that they were going to start spraying some mud on themselves and move around and just play a little bit. I think there are a few coming around, but maybe now they're a bit shy of approaching the water hole. I just see a trunk moving in the background. I wonder if maybe we were too optimistic and we thought they were going to come and they had this plan all along. Jake, you're 10 years old and you want to know how much an elephant drinks in a day. Well, sometimes they can drink about 150 liters of water in one go. Sorry, throughout the day, not in one go. Got a bit optimistic there. So they can drink a lot of water, and they have to drink water every day. And maybe they can fit about 10 liters or so in their trunk, maybe a little bit less, depending on how big they are. But nowadays, when it starts becoming hot, then if they don't find water in the water holes like this, then the clever thing that they do is they go into the dry riverbeds and then they start digging, because they know that there's going to be some water in there. I was hoping that she was going to come into the water hole, but it seems like she's moved off from behind the tree. There's one coming into the clearing. So you guys see that we are not lying and the Ellies are definitely there. And there's a youngster coming here. Alright, let's quickly go over to Tayla while we wait for these Ellies to come down to the water.
We've got the waxbills, we've got the blue waxbills. There they are. Well, there's one. There's actually an entire flock of them. They keep coming to this little spot here. So I think this little knobthorn is probably one of my favorite trees for these small birds. I think they feel quite safe sitting on those thorny branches, and it's not a bad spot, because in there, hiding away, often, like I said, you'll see the waxbills, the firefinches, buntings. They'll roost there and then they'll go down to the water's edge and have a drink. And I think, like I said, they feel safe. They're well protected from any smaller raptors. Won't want to fly into that to try and snatch them up, or rather leave them be. Now there's another bird just down over there. It's a little 3-banded plover. Here it is. Hello, little one. And I think that if we're patient at this dam, we might be lucky and we might get to see a couple of different little birds coming down to drink. Isn't that pretty? But you can also, again, look at all the ripples in the water. Normally, Treehouse Dam is like a mirror. It's completely clear. Now, Mr. T said, have I ever been viciously attacked by birds or several birds? Yes. The answer to that is yes, yes, yes. On horseback, actually, riding through the dunes, not through the dunes, but like through the hunt tracks, we used to call them, so on the way to the beach, which was quite nice. So, not the being attacked by birds, but I was mobbed by crowned lapwings before. You don't play around with those birds. They were so angry that we were riding through there and they started bopping us on our heads. I think that's that, and I've been chased by chickens before. I've also been chased by geese. I don't like geese at all. I'm actually a little bit nervous of them. I'll go the long way around when I see geese. I don't trust them. What else have I been attacked by? I used to have a parrot. He was a black-headed conure. He was a rescue bird from an aviary, and unfortunately a lot of the other birds attacked him, and anyways, he was badly injured, so I reared him and I kept him for many years. He used to come everywhere with me. He used to go in the car, he used to come to school, he used to sit on my shoulder. He was great. He bit me once too and made me bleed quite badly, so I don't know if that counts as a bird attack, but I think I've had my fair share of being bopped on the head by, particularly, like I said, the crowned lapwings. Other than that, everything else, I feel like I'm bigger and braver than them, and I'm able to scare them away if they give me any hassles. Well, Ellies, that's a tongue twister, isn't it, if you say that 10 times over and really quickly, have made their way out of the thicket and popped out to a good view. Let's go take another look.
Yes, they have popped out, and there are quite a few. There's a big mother, a youngster, and a tiny little one moving all around. So we're just gonna keep an eye on them, see where they go. I think maybe also, I'm really hoping all of them will start going onto the dam at Vuyatela, just so that we can have a beautiful view of them playing around in the water. I think that is one of my favorite things. Just seeing the elephants being happy around water and spraying, and the little ones, and the chaos that happens when they get to a water hole, and all the dust that gets kicked up. It is a very special moment when you get to see all that frenzy, like, ah, yes, pull time, and they all start running, especially the little ones. And funny enough, I'm convinced that some of the people that I've worked with are fully convinced that my name is actually Ellie for elephant. Because I've been called Elephant Ellie for quite a while, so I wonder if they've actually ever known my true name. Maybe they haven't. Hello. Someone's kicking up all the grass and moving it around. I just love it, how easy they're taking it. They're having a wonderful Sunday afternoon, coming over here, maybe eating a little bit, slowly making their way on towards the dam. Not a worry in sight. Look at the power of that trunk churning on itself, trying to grip and grab all the grass, and then sometimes if they're not too successful with their trunk, then they give it a bit of a kick with their front legs just to dislodge it from the ground, and up they eat it. And they're, of course, very iconic view of Africa, an elephant's bottom. There's another young girl feeding away. You know, what's often endearing about them is that the young girls, even at this age, they'll start looking after some of the other youngsters, practicing those babysitting skills for when they have their own, because virtually the whole life of a breeding herd is around the youngsters and raising them and just making sure that everybody manages to get into adulthood. We've got a confused Nyala walking in the distance as well. I don't know if you guys saw it. I think he also thinks because he's big and grey, maybe he can be part of this group, but I don't think they'll take them in. Wonderful. All of these Ellies around. We could hear some more in the distance, so I wonder if there's also another herd far away from us, and that big bull has now started annoying one of them. They were, you know, trumpeting and screaming the way that elephants do when they're not too happy about something. And also they're so clever. All of them in the shade. Nick, you're wondering if herds ever fight each other. It can happen, yes. There are quite a few records about it. You'll see, how can I put this? Elephants, they don't have territories, they have big home ranges. But of course, these areas where they roam around, sometimes they overlap with other herds that they're not related to. So sometimes there can be a bit of competition around a waterhole, or, you know, if they bump into each other and they're not particularly friendly, because they don't want to share their resources either. But so you'll see that there's a lot of commotion, a lot of trumpeting, a lot of moving around, and maybe a little bit of pushing around just to get the one herd to leave, if, for example, if they meet at a waterhole. So it's not rare to see them have a bit of a dispute, an altercation, but normally it doesn't escalate like it would between other animals of other species, like it would between a lion and a leopard, where they will definitely not tolerate anyone that's of their same species and not in their group or related to them for any purpose. Sorry, I know that doesn't make any sense. I was just wondering what this elephant was eating, but I see it's just a quarry. Are you coming out? So what is interesting though is sometimes in the summertime the herds will break into smaller groups. So you'll see the mom with their offspring, and then further ahead you'll see the older ones with their offspring, and they start splitting into smaller groups. But when they come back together in the winter, sometimes during the winter time, because their resources and particularly water is less available, they will always recognize each other. So there's a lot of greeting going on. They all get very excited, a lot of secretion on their temporal glands, and they start sniffing each other and touching each other. So it's quite a beautiful thing to see. Hello. How are you doing?
Are you alive?
Huh? Am I alive? Yes,
Not alive, alive.
I am. I'm just teasing you, Rex. But he was asking if I was alive. I didn't know if he was being funny. Sky, you say this is a magical experience with elephants, or experience in general. It is. I find it very humbling to be around elephants, because they just sometimes take it so easy, and like on afternoons like this you can just appreciate all of them together and just moving around, and you know, just a big family group. Oh, we've got some piglets, a small grey thing. Let's see if they come. William, you're all the Oregon, 8 years old, and it's your birthday today. So happy birthday to you. I'm happy that the Ellies came out to sing happy birthday to you. Although I'm not too sure how they would sing happy birthday. Maybe something along those lines. That's how I imagine an elephant would sing happy birthday. But in a more serious note, you were asking if elephants eat peanuts. Well, I think captive elephants do. We don't have peanuts out here, so they don't eat any. But what they do eat is a lot of fruit and nuts that fall from the trees or that are still on the trees. So I think they quite enjoy all the things that are yummy and tasty. There's nothing around here that's exactly like a peanut. Wonderful. Those little two together. I can't see if it's suckling from here. I think it looks a bit big to still be suckling, but I wouldn't be surprised. While we carry on here, we're gonna try and move along with them. Let's go to Tayla, who's got a surprise for everyone.
Find something. I'm gonna just jump out the car. There we go. Look what I've just spotted. Yay! Check here. Look at this track. It's a little leopard footprint. Well, not a little leopard. I think it's Shongile's tracks because they're not particularly big for a female, for an adult female. So I think that it could be her. That's here. So that's quite exciting. And it's over the top of this morning's game drive tracks too. Now we're still around Treehouse Dam. We're on the southern road. So I'm glad we came through here. But now we just need to find her. But before we start looking for her, I'm checking every tree now. Happy birthday, William! I believe that your mom doesn't want to send us a screenshot of your birthday cake because you've said that she made the cake and it's beautiful, but the tail looks like at the end of a trunk. Well, I don't mind seeing a two-trunked elephant, so please, I'd love to see your cake. I'd be so excited because I need ideas for my birthday in August as to what my elephant cake can look like. But there we go. There's a little elephant that I tried to draw. It's a strange looking thing, of course, but happy birthday anyway. 8 years old today. How exciting is that? Wonderful. I wish I was 8 again. It would be lots and lots of fun. But now, William, wouldn't the perfect birthday present be a leopard? I think so. I think it most certainly will. I'm actually just going to go around these tracks because I want to figure out exactly where she's gone and where she could be. Now, I didn't see them initially over here, but I'll just check again because I was on the wrong side. And they were on the side and now they've jumped to the other side of the road. Let me just see if I can pick them up again. She loves to sit in trees. If it is Shongile, we need to check in the tops of the trees. So I'm just scanning around because there's so many marula trees. She could honestly be anywhere. If I don't see any more tracks here or at this little junction with Treehouse Dam, then I wonder if she hasn't gone into this drainage line. And my brain is working overtime now. I'm just trying to figure out exactly where this cat could have gone. This tracks look quite windblown, but of course, like I said, it's very, very windy. But I know that I drove here twice this morning, double checking these roads, and those tracks were not there. They were only hyena tracks. And a hyena track looks very different from a leopard track, especially those little ones. Let's just check here, because the sand is nice and soft. But there's been lots of elephants around the dam at one point today too. Maybe I must just go a little bit further along just to see if she didn't carry on walking this way, because I don't think anybody has driven here just yet, so I should be able to see tracks quite easy. I know I haven't driven here. Ellie hasn't been here yet. No, she's here. She's somewhere here. Now we just need to figure out where exactly. I'm gonna go back and take another scan from the dam wall. I apologize if it feels like I'm not concentrating or paying you too much attention, but I feel like there's a lot of pressure and we need to find leopard today. and especially if there's one that's moved onto the property. Just come down here to see if there's any tracks. This has made my day. Rakesh, you've said, why don't we have a rest on Sunday? I don't know. I suppose you can't really call what we do work, Rakesh, but we work all the time. So basically we work sort of cycles, if you will. The moment we're working 21 days on, 10 days off, but that's going to change. We normally work 6 weeks on, 2 weeks off. So we'll work those whole 6 weeks, and then we have 2 solid weeks off, which is pretty amazing because it gives you an opportunity to actually have a holiday instead of just having weekends all the time. So we love it. We love working in the bush, and every day, you know, by 6 weeks you're pretty tired, you know, you're ready for a rest. But other than that, it's quite nice, and it doesn't feel like work being able to go out on a safari every single day. Now I'm a little bit confused. There's no more tracks coming here. I think I might have to go walking at some point. I think because if it's little Shongile, I'm not particularly worried. She could just be laying down in the base of a tree. Let's just recheck Savage's track again. I'm going to scan from this side and see if I can't see the trees. Right. I'm going to keep searching for these leopard tracks. Like I said, I think I'm going to hop off on foot now because they're trying to old and they disappear into the thicket, so she might just be in her way. But I'm going to send you back across to Ellie to find out what happened to her elephants.
It seems like the elephants are slowly moving on to where we want them to. Oh, hello Impala. I don't think we had counted you this afternoon. So we've got one more species of mammal to add to our list. And we're going to carry on going around, like I said, just to see if perhaps we manage to get onto the Ellies just as they come into the waterhole, which would be very lovely. But it's a bit thick where they were driving, where they were walking. Oh, it seems like we've got an injured Impala. I hadn't noticed this particular one is missing half of its horn. Definitely missing the tip of the horn. And likely this happened during this rutting season. A lot of the times we see them running around missing horns because they become so aggressive when they get into the rutting season that it's almost like they don't think, and all they do is fight and mate and fight and mate. And I have seen on more than one occasion an Impala ram running around with somebody else's horn stuck in its hindquarters. So I wonder if there's another male running around with a piece of horn stuck in it, or if perhaps we're going to find it somewhere along in the bush. Yeah, we've got what seems to be a bachelor herd around here, so quite a large group of boys. I wonder, we saw a very big group of females this morning and now a very big group of males. I think these guys are also a bit annoyed by the wind and just hanging out in the thickets. But onwards and forwards we go. Let's carry on and see if perhaps we can get onto those elephants. I'm hoping they're going to be very nice to us and go back onto the water. Alright, let's see if we get lucky around here. The sun is very powerful today. I can barely see in front of us because it's shining so beautiful and so bright. But definitely because of everything that's been happening down in Cape Town, we're getting a lot more wind up here. Wonder what else is lurking around here. Alright, also the bird challenge. Ferg, we need to spot more birds because I think Tayla's going to win. I want to see birds. Come on, fly around. Reveal yourselves. I want to try this particular dip because yesterday we had a beautiful pair of brown hooded kingfishers. So I wonder if maybe they're still around. Let's see. Oop. Let's see around here. I wanna see if perhaps they are around here, but it seems like they're not. I think maybe they have their little nest in some of the banks of this drainage line, but I can't see them from here. And normally they're easy to spot if they are around because they are of a bright blue color, so when they fly you see the beautiful coloration quickly moving around you. Huh. Let's carry on. Let's see. We're gonna carry on looking for elephants and birds. We go from the great to the minute, and let's go over to Tayla, who's still busy tracking the leopard.
We've just taken a break for a moment. We've got a headless bird, and you're going to have to trust me. That is a Gymnogene sitting there. That's one of Craig's favourite birds. I've never seen anybody get so excited to see one. He says he loves them, and they're very interesting. And I wonder if it's because of their technique, their sort of hunting technique of moving around on these trees, and particularly knob thorns as well, moving the bark back and catching lizards and all sorts of small things, maybe even chicks from nests. They've got amazing flexibility and are able to stick their legs right into holes and pull out young nestlings. But we mainly came down in here though to of course try and find this leopard. I thought maybe if I stick in the car we could get a couple of birds as well. So we're bumbling about, but the support crew is coming in. Rexon has heard of the leopard tracks, which I called in, so he says he's going to come and give us a hand. So I'm very excited for that. So I pointed him in the right direction to the last tracks that I had. And now I'm just checking in some of these trees around here that you can't necessarily see from the road. But let's carry on. So I'm doing a little bit of off-roading, but it's nice and cool in the middle of this drainage line. So if I was a leopard, I probably would have come around here to try and escape the heat. But I have to concentrate so much because there are so many possibilities as to where this leopard could be laying that I could quite easily miss her. And also I don't want to drive into a tree. And not too keen on that. This is a massive animal pathway that we're on at the moment. We're in the midline. What we're going to do now is the gremlins are in this drainage line too. We're going to keep searching for this leopard. Hopefully we'll find it. Let's go back across to Ellie.
Hopefully Tayla will be able to scare those gremlins off and find the leopard that she's tracking. We are still busy going around. We have been searching desperately for birds, see if we can find any of them around here. Perhaps something small and pretty, or something big and ferocious. And I think maybe the Harrier Hawk that Tayla had was the same one that we had this morning, because I think she's a treehouse dam, and that's exactly where we had it. So clearly it stayed around there, and who knows, maybe the food has been good around there. It's a good spot to go hunting, and it's perhaps exactly why it's staying there. Very clever Harrier Hawk. But no birds around here. Again, we can hear some of them calling in the distance, but nothing around here. Jennifer, you're wondering if the African Harrier Hawk is a bird whose face turns red when it gets excited. Yes, it does turn red. It's normally of a yellow color and then it turns red. But some of the other birds, other creatures also do it. So maybe not as obvious as the Gymnogene well, actually I should say just the Harrier Hawk. But a lot of them, what is this in front of us? I don't think we've counted this one's on our list. They tend to get different colorations when they get excited, or more likely when they go into mating. They grow longer tails, they've got prettier colors. Hello, I think we saw this one this morning, but we hadn't ticked it off on their bird challenge. And this is a crested francolin, a family of them. So this morning we had them perched on top of a tree sunning themselves, and this is the reason why it's so hard to see. You see all the grass behind them, so if it were not for the road, likely we wouldn't see as many of them, because they are virtually smaller than the road. The size of a small chicken almost. So that's one more for our list. And I saw some more flying around up ahead, so I wonder what it was. And maybe we'll be able to rack a few more at the dam and just stick them all off. Where did you go? I think maybe this bird was way too quick and we didn't manage to find it. Alright, getting back to where the Ellies were. Folk, you're wondering if there are any falcons, peregrine falcons in the area. I would say pretty much all the falcons we get here, they're starting to head, or they have already left. I haven't seen any of them around. And they normally migrate to warmer areas during the winter time. So I haven't seen any of them for the last month, I would say. We had quite a few around quite different species around the summer. But it seems like for now they have all gone. I wonder if these Ellies are now going to go into the drainage line, which would not be ideal. Because I want them to come and drink. I haven't seen Ellies drinking for a while. So it would be something very nice to see. I think I got a beetle in my eye. It happens often, unfortunately, when we're driving around and there's a lot of wind, especially in the summertime when there are so many insects around. You'll be driving and then I've had it more than once, and you get a dung beetle to the eye, and you know, imagine something this big flying straight into your eye and full of, well, poop, full of dung. So it's not the best thing that you want happening to you. But I think lucky for me this time it was, whatever it was quite small and almost out of my eye now. You know, the dangers of this job, having things flying into your eyes. Alright, elephants, why are you not here? Let's see. I can hear more magpie shrikes in the distance, but I think those ones did we count those ones in? Can anybody let me know if we saw them this morning? Because I know we saw a few, but I don't know if we managed to catch any of those ones on camera. So if you can use the hashtag Safari Live and let me know if my list already includes a magpie shrike. If not, then I will definitely start looking for them again. Not around here. Lots of beautiful quarries around here, very big. Linda, you're wondering if there are any ostriches in the Kruger. Yes, there are ostriches in the Kruger. They seem to prefer areas that are a bit drier and a bit more open than this one. And it's very rare for us to see them here in the Sabi Sound. As a matter of, we are a reserve that is adjoining the Kruger National Park, what's part of the Greater Kruger National Park, but we don't really see ostriches all the way up here. I think maybe it's a bit too thick and way too many predators for them, so that's why it's not easy to spot them here. I think maybe just in one of the reserves further south from us, there's been an ostrich in the last few years or so. I have never seen one around here, and if I did, I would be very surprised. Seems like the Ellies are going to dig for water rather than coming to have a drink. It's common for them to do so at this time of the year. They're very fuzzy with the water that they drink. If the water is not clean, they'd rather go and dig and go to filtered water rather than just drinking anything from any water source. Oh, this would be a beautiful tree to have a leopard on. Maybe one day. Alright, let's see if there are any birds here that we haven't yet counted on our list. Ah, giraffe! Big animal in front of us! Whew. I've been looking for you for like 2 days now. I'm sure this is the one that we've been seeing all the tracks all around, moving around the dam and then going all the way up to Buffelshoek and then coming all the way down. Very happy to see you. Let's see if you're that mystery giraffe that's missing one eye. No, you seem to be fine, at least from this side, but it seems like it's got an oxpecker close to his eye, actually. Yep, oxpecker it is. Too bad we've already counted the oxpecker, the red-billed oxpecker. Hello. going all the way down. I wonder what it is today, because the giraffe is also... Oh no, you're not feeding on a buffalo thorn. I thought you were, but you're just eating an acacia like a very good giraffe, are you not? So I think we saw this guy a few days ago. I recognize it by that marking that you're seeing there. And sometimes, well, it's scars, and when the tissue starts scabbing, it becomes itchy, and they carry on scratching it, and that's how they get those scars over there. But sometimes there's also a type of fly that lays its eggs inside of the hair follicles of the giraffe. So when the larva comes out, it actually starts feeding on the hair itself, and it becomes quite itchy for the giraffe. So because they scratch it so much, then they tend to peel all that hair away. And then little creatures like those naughty oxpeckers on top of the giraffe will definitely, if there's a bit of blood exposed, they'll come around and they'll, start pecking on the wounds, or, just opening it up a bit more and hurting the giraffe. Well, not hurting the giraffe, that's a bit strong, but just not letting the wound heal in time. Sylvia, you're saying that the oxpecker looks very tiny on the giraffe. Yeah, I think so. They're not big birds in general, but probably anything on top of a giraffe would look very small. I reckon even I on top of the giraffe would look small. That would be quite a view. Imagine if you could ride giraffes, what the view would be from all the way up there. Well, at least one of the bigger creatures around here has decided to come and join us at the dam. See, it's 3 days looking for it, and we should have just, like the beginning, let it come to us. It would have been a lot easier because it's here now. Also, I think it's balancing on some very interesting ground, so I hope that it's eventually going to make its way all the way down to the waterhole, and we'll be able to see it have a bit of a drink, because I think that is one of my favorite things, just the way that they have to stretch and go very slowly, and then when they're done drinking, plop, they almost like jump back up, because otherwise it would be too awkward for them. So quite a pleasant afternoon around Waiatela Dam. Hey, Giraffe. Somebody's enjoying the occasion. Now, what's interesting about the tree that this giraffe is feeding upon is the fact that it's going to start putting, because it's going to start putting out a substance in the leaves that's called tannin, that it's going to make the leaves taste very bitter, and then the giraffe is going to get tired of feeding on this particular tree because it's not going to taste as yummy, and then it's going to move onto the next tree. But what is quite interesting is not only will they put out this substance in their leaves, but then they're going to put out a pheromone, a substance that all of the other acacias of the same species around, that they're going to recognize it as an alarm that there's danger, that there's a creature that's feeding upon them, and they will automatically start putting out the same substance just to deter the giraffe from coming and feeding on them. Lily, you're 7 and you were wondering what's the tallest giraffe I have ever seen. Ooh, I don't know. I think they're all very tall. I think maybe the tallest one that I have ever seen was one that was a very old big bull, and it was very dark in color. And I think that was definitely the biggest one that I have seen. And it had a very big neck, and I don't know, it looked like a building to me every time we bumped into it. So almost imagine looking up and you see a head and you see the clouds. That's how big I thought it was. I think maybe the leaves are starting to taste less appetizing, and that's why the head is going all the way down to try and find, because I think there's a cluster of trees around there, so a few different ones all together, and the giraffe is just maneuvering all around them. James, you're wondering if some giraffe subspecies are more gregarious than others. I'm not too sure. Normally giraffes have loose associations where they'll bump into each other and they'll spend some time together and then they'll be apart. but I'm not too sure. It'll be interesting to see, because also only recently have scientists divided giraffes into more subspecies. I think there's an extra 3 or 4 that they've decided now that they're not part of the bigger group. So until they do some specific studies of this particular social adaptation or social inclination of giraffes, I don't think I can answer that question. I don't know if there are any studies that have been done just to determine if perhaps the giraffes in the Masai Mara are slightly more sociable than the ones down here. But it'll be something interesting to go and research when I get back tonight. Giraffes are such puzzling animals. They just seem to go through life and not worry too much. Just carry on moving around. There's a lion. They'll be able to run away or kick it and defend themselves. They seem to live very peaceful lives, don't they? Matt, you're wondering what the bump that's found in between the eyes of a giraffe, what it's used for, and that is a very good observation. So when male giraffes fight for mating rights, they will do it with their necks and their horns. So you'll see they do what is called necking. So they don't kick or bite, they'll just use their necks to fight. Now, one of the heaviest things, of course, is their head. And as they start getting older, there's more weight added to it. And there's more weight added to them, so when they fight, then the blow is much harder the heavier the head. So they will have the horns, and they get calcium deposits in the front and on the back. I don't know if you can see in between their ears, there are another 2 bumps at the back of the horns. So they hurt each other, and the more calcium deposits that they have, the heavier their head, the harder the blow, and the better their chance to mate with a female. I think Tayla's very excited about a bird that she's with. I wonder what it is that she's managed to find. So let's go across to her and see if she can tick off a new one.
I promise I won't keep you too long from Ellie, but we have found ourselves, well, I didn't spot anything. This one goes to Craig. This is a black-headed oriole just sitting in the tops of a tree, preening its feathers in the lovely warm afternoon sun. But of course it's quite difficult to spot it, even though this tree doesn't have any leaves on it. All those little branches with the thorns make it quite difficult to see through it. But it is sitting there, and I'm hoping that it's going to sing us a song, because they really do have such beautiful calls. I'm not going to play the call for you because the orioles are quite territorial as is, so I know that it's going to respond to my call. Some birds don't respond at all and they're completely oblivious to it, but we're also relatively close to it, so I'm sure it's going to hear it. So we will just let it carry on preening itself. Maybe we'll have to take a drive near the Mulwati at some point to see if we can find some special birds that may be living along the edge of the riverbed. But that's quite nice. Now, I've also just checked the hyena den. We just did a quick circle around it, but unfortunately nobody was home. But we'll keep trying. We're going to hang around in the area and see if we can pick up on this leopard. So what we're going to do now, got another one for the list. Chantal, has anybody said how many birds we've got so far? Because I have absolutely no idea. I'm hopeless at remembering anything. If anybody does know how many birds I'm like, please can you hashtag Safari Live with a number. Oh, a little beetle. Hi, little beetle. Park like this for you, Craig. Can you see it just walking there? Well, that's nice. It doesn't look like a dung beetle. It's tiny. I'm not going to go and pick it up. I'm going to leave it crawling along the ground. It is so small. And it's probably maybe the size of my thumbnail, so not particularly large. It doesn't look like it's got any wings, does it? I wonder what, you maybe one of the tokkie beetles? Maybe. It's so hard to tell. Of course, as most of you know, the Coleoptera family is huge, filled with thousands of different species of beetles. So it's impossible to know all of them. But I wonder if it isn't a little tokkie beetle. It looks like it could be one of them. I'm trying to think what else has got such a small head like that and then quite a large abdomen. Like I said, it's not particularly big either. Okay, well, it's crossing the road now. Bye, little beetle. Enjoy your day. Be careful. There's lots of birds out here that would love to eat you. Those hornbills. They would crush straight through that carapace and gobble you up in one go. So, Rexon says the tracks turn and go south again. So I think we might drive the fire break. There's hornbills. Hornbills, we've seen you. I'm only going to show everybody what you look like if you eat a scorpion for me. So just having a conversation with the birds. Now, Ellie, you were wondering if there are any birds that will feed off of the carcasses that the big cats sort of kill. Yes, there's actually many different birds. All the vulture species. So in this area we typically see white-backed, hooded and lappet-faced. Sometimes you can see white-headed if you're lucky, but not as common. You see them a little bit further south. I see a lot of white-headed vultures. And then also marabou storks will feed off a carcass, a southern ground hornbill. Woolly-necked storks might also peck at one. And then sometimes we see things like francolins and starlings hanging around carcasses, but not necessarily to feed on the actual carcass. They'll be after all the maggots, which the flies will lay their eggs, as you know, over the dead animals. And then once they've hatched, they provide lots of delicious, nutritious food for various animals. So sometimes you see, I'm just listening to the radio quickly, no, nothing just yet. So sometimes you see some very brave francolins trying to sneak up on lions while they're resting with a belly full. Here, leopard tracks again. So these leopard tracks come out of Rebecca's. Can you see there? Just there, Craig. I'll try and point them out to you. They're somewhere over there. We go. Yes, I think you're on them. Are you? They're there. There are leopard tracks there. It's a bit difficult to see. I'm trying to point them out, but it's so difficult. But again, they look so worn because of all the wind that we've had today. Let me just tell Rexon that I have got some more. So I wonder whose these are now. I'm still trying to figure this all out. Let's just see if they go down Savage's track. I've driven Savage's track though, and we didn't see, but I haven't come from Philemon's cut line side, so I could have missed them quite easily. We came from this side. No, man. No ways. These are so fresh. Look here. This is unbelievable. Hang on. Sorry. Let me jump out here. Now I'm trapped. Look at this. These are so fresh, these leopard tracks over here. Very, very, very little damage to them. Where are they going? Walking here. Okay, so I think Rexon has seen these tracks. That's good. These are much fresher than the ones that we've just had. So there was definitely a leopard walking through here. I'm just trying to think. Maybe we should just go down Shibama once more and have a look. That is so interesting. I wonder who's been moving around. Let me just triple check that they didn't come across to Savage's track. I wonder if those, yes, they are. There are leopard tracks here. No, but these are over mine. I think there was a leopard that was moving around right now. I don't think we're far behind this leopard. There's some more tracks going this way. Let's go back down Savage's track. We'll just keep doing loops around here, and hopefully we're going to pick up on a leopard. It's definitely a female leopard. That's very interesting. So it just shows you can drive around as many times as you like, and still the animals are experts at avoiding the vehicles. I mean, they've just proven it. I mean, how much time did we spend at Treehouse Dam driving in and out the drainage line? Yes, these leopard tracks are over my tracks. I'm going to try and keep up with them and just see. But these weren't here earlier, because I checked very, very carefully on the way down. I drove so slowly. So I'm just going to focus on what's in front of me and just keep scanning through this golden grass, because this leopard could have gone off the road at any point and decided to take an animal pathway. There's lots of duiker and steenbok hiding in this long grass. It could be Shadow. Shadow's not a particularly big female. It could be Shongile. Shongile's got fairly small tracks too. Let's have a look. Let's just check the dam once more. Make sure these marula trees. I think Shongile likes it around her. She feels quite happy, and so is Shadow, which is a bit of a problem if the two of them are going to try and take on this territory all by themselves. We're going to have to find these leopards at some point. They can't keep avoiding us like this. We've got 2 people searching for them now. Right, I'm going to send you back across to Ellie. Her tall animal has disappeared just as the elephants. Let's go and see how she managed to lose the giraffe.
Well, the giraffe is still there in the distance, but because it has decided to move around a little bit more, and I'm sure you can see its big head sticking out all the way there, then we are going to leave it and carry on our search for more beautiful birds, perhaps more plants, perhaps more mammals, whatever it is that the bush has in store for us today. Bye-bye, giraffe. Thank you very much for your being so friendly. Let's see. Whoop. All right. Let's see around here. Any birds? Come on, little birds. Now that Tayla's distracted, this is our chance. I think I'm starting to get cold again now that we have decided to come across a road that is not really all that sunny. I wonder if we will survive. Luckily, I've got my layer kit here with me, so I won't be freezing to death. Not today. Some hippo dung on the road. All right. Whoop. Ferg, are you still there? Sorry guys, we had a bit of an interesting way going up. Bonnie, you're wondering what my favorite predatory bird is. That's a good question. I don't know if I have one. I think maybe the batelier would be the one. The short-tailed eagle. I think just because I met one once that was called Mr. Chicken in the wildlife rehabilitation that I used to work at. And he was a character, definitely something else, and very interesting bird. But I think maybe that's my favorite one. Actually, that I think about it, I've never stopped and think about it. I think they look very regal, and I like the fact that they have such a short tail, and that allows them to fly and change directions a lot quicker than some of the other eagles. So batelier, I think that would be the one. Also, lots of feathers on the batelier, and it makes them quite pretty. Yeah, I think I'm confident with my answer now. A batelier for sure. Now, we didn't check this road in the morning, so who knows? Maybe that sneaky male lion that everybody saw on the camera walked this way? Who knows? Whoop! I keep falling on all the holes. Thankfully, Ferg is holding on. Ah! We've got some birds dust bathing in front of us. I want to see what they are. Ah, more crested francolin. This ones we have definitely ticked off the list. Oh, and they were just having such a good time, but it seems like, bath time is over. Time to get back into the grass. Are you also gonna go? And the other one. Running around. Alright. By magic, I have put on my jersey because I am getting very cold. And nope, we have seen starlings before. Sorry guys, nothing personal. We're just looking for new ewes. Another. I think we need to find ourselves a very nice bird party all around here to then be able to spot or rack more points. Come on, bateliers, now that we've thought about you, you guys need to come all the way around here. I must say, I also like vultures. I find them fascinating creatures, thinking about bateliers and what an important role that they've got and how they clean everything up and just make sure that the environment is still safe for everyone. And of course, every time I think about the vultures, I think about the Jungle Book and that scene when they're all sitting on a tree and they, you know, start waving their arms, moving their arms up and down, going like, and what are we gonna do? And I don't know, and they carry on walking like that. So it is quite funny. I think that's probably one of the main reasons why I like them, because I keep thinking about them. Come along, little birds. Let's see. Come on. All right. I think these little creatures are not playing game. Seems like it's quite quiet around here. Maybe there's an indication that we had a male lion walking around here. Could be this morning. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. There's a big beautiful drainage line in there too, so it could be another area where Amber Eyes is hiding out. I think Tristan was very upset about the fact that she's still in the drainage line and we haven't been able to see her again. Because everybody is, you know, itchy feet. We all want to see her and that little one again. But he thinks maybe that she could potentially have a few more, and what she's doing is just hiding the rest of them in the drainage, and she just introduced the little one while she was busy moving dens. Which, I mean, there's also a possibility. I know lions, they move their cubs in between dens and then they introduce them to the pride, but those little ones were definitely still a bit too small to keep up with the movements of the pride. Although it could already run, it was still not as certain on its feet as some of the other or the bigger cubs. I thought I heard another bird, but maybe not around here. Where are you guys? I think maybe now, Ferg, we've seen the same amount of mammals as we've seen birds. I think if we go by quantity, we've definitely saw a lot more elephants than what we've seen birds. Yeah, thought maybe I was getting a flat tire, but not, thankfully. Let's see, I see another hornbill flying in the distance. Our beard, you're saying that the animals are taking Sunday off. Yes, I think that could potentially be it. I'm sure everyone's enjoying just being at home and just maybe sleeping on the couch and taking it easy. So I wouldn't be surprised if the animals did that too. I do want to go and check the area where those lions crossed out this morning, because they've been moving around quite a bit, especially when it's this windy and it's, you know, not that hot. So who knows, maybe we've got a couple of possibilities. Maybe they decided to go further into Buffelshoek. Maybe they've gone to Manialeti, because we know the Nkuhumas like going into Manialeti. But I'm hoping that maybe that female that was mating with one of the Birmingham boys, I'm hoping that she will be the one to drag them all the way back here. But who knows, all of this is wishful thinking, and I think so far it's worked to let the animals come to us, so maybe I'm just gonna stick with that. And of course I need to look for more lucky beans, because I haven't been able to see any around here. We just had those ones that first day and then no more.